Happy Wednesday, you amazing, beautiful, talented, intelligent people. Of course, we are working through the technical challenges. We don't do difficulties. We don't do problems. That's not what we do. We do challenges. Why? Because the mind wants to shift into solutions, into solving them. So we are very intentional with our words. And this is why I'm especially excited today to bring to you Jevon Edwards, certified, you hear this? Professional development, certified personal development. He's certified and get this, a LegalShield independent associate. I am definitely all up, you guys. I'm all up because we work through the challenges. And so Jevon is going to join us on the phone today. And so for our viewing and listening audience, be sure you hit that share button, you tag someone, invite them, let them know what we're doing, because we're going to talk about two important things here: personal development and protecting all that is so valuable, which is self. S.E.L.F. Self. Talk about RESPCT, right? Jevon, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much, Lisa, for having me on. I truly appreciate the invitation, and it's definitely an honor to be on the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I am really excited to have you on. And so we do a lot of mindset shifting here on this platform because it is important when we're talking about real estate. And so folks may be like, gosh, you know, the Ready, Set Real Estate is about real estate. And oftentimes I like to cross market with the Shift Your Thinking platform because everything in which we see into creation today came out of the imagination. And I have actually, as today's quote, imagination is the eye of the soul. And all that starts with getting self right. So I've been watching you. You are a reader. Looks like you're an avid reader. You are definitely about success. And you, brother, let me say this, you dress for success. And I can appreciate that. So we're going to jump in and just touch on the importance of, like I said, personal development, because I'm all about that. And what I share with my listening audience is, we know Ready, Set Real Estate is the show about the flips, the flops, the booms, and the busts in real estate and the people in it with special millennial features. But what is very significant and important about that is, as we're striving for success, abundance, wealth, and we know that that is attainable through real estate, which right now everyone says 90% of multimillionaires and billionaires of the world acquire that through real estate. There is this level of of personal work, inner work that needs to go into that to be able to manage millions of dollars. Would you agree?
I totally agree with you as well on that, for sure.
Very good. Share with us. Go ahead. This is your turn. And let me say this: I am master student and master teacher when I have the master teachers come on the show. So I listen, I learn, I listen intently. I will want you to expound on some terms and concepts that you might share that people are not aware of. So we'd like to learn a little bit more about where you're from and just a journey into how you've become a certified personal development trainer, and especially because it's on the level of being certified through the Dale Carnegie program. And I'm really excited that people can hear this from someone who's gone through it, experienced it, and just hears I'm sure it's been life-changing.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for everything you're doing in this world to add value to people's lives, and give me an invitation to be on the show. Born and raised in Los Angeles, went to high school at Manual Arts.
What?
And so I had a long journey in life. Worked at the grocery store for 10 years prior to being an entrepreneur. My mother's from Belize City. My dad is from San Antonio, Texas. So I have a nice mixture in my life. And it's been a very unbelievable journey. And the way I became the personal development coach that you see today is by reading a book at a Starbucks. And I was getting ready for a training to speak at a training in Ontario last year in August, or actually July. And I gave a gentleman a compliment. I said, "You look very sharp." And I asked him what he did for a living. And I was reading this book called The How to Win Friends and Influence People. And he came over, sat at my table. We started speaking and found out that he was a LegalShield member for about 9 years. And we started talking. He gave me his business card. And guess who he was?
Who was he?
He was the president of the Dale Carnegie Training Company.
Wow. Look at that. That's amazing.
Right?
That is, you got a package deal.
Law of attraction.
Yes. Say that again.
No worries. I know you're excited because I'm excited as well. It's called the Law of Attraction because I was reading How to Win Friends and Influence People for the third time in my lifetime. And because I was planted at the right place at the right time.
Yes.
I met the right person that completely changed my life.
Yes, absolutely. The law of attraction, also the law of magnetism. Yes. When we say like-minded, right? Like experiences. So here's what's really nice about what you just shared. I genuinely had some serious reactions right now on a couple things that you shared. Now, let me say this. Jevon and I met at our bonding mixer. I am vice chair of the Young Professionals Network for the Southwest Association, Southwest Los Angeles Association of Realtors here in California. And we have just started our Young Professionals Network, our YPN committee. And we're really excited about that. Jevon was at the bonding mixer. I think it was in 60 seconds. I just knew. I was like, yes, I would like to invite you to my show because you recognize when people bring added value. And in all transparency, I have been tied up that we didn't get to connect, but we got connected on social media. We text messages, but I know Jevon's doing what he's doing and Lisa's doing what she's doing. And on this day, we're going to make it happen, which is what we did. But what you shared, Jevon, was that you went to Manual Arts High School, which it was around the street from where I grew up. My grandmother, my family off of Hoover. My mother graduated from Manual Arts. And you mentioned mom from Belize City. My family is from Belize. I'm first generation born here in the United States. So look at that. The synchronicities are there prior to us even expounding on the whole. So, what's the life story? What's the journey? I love it. I love it. So share with us, it's one thing to say, hey, I'm a certified personal development coach. What would determine someone coming to you? How does someone step out and say, you know what, I do want to consult with you? What have you found has been maybe the tipping point? And there's a book I've been reading called The Tipping Point, so it's fresh in my mind, that would cause someone to just take that next step. It's almost like saying, hey, I need help. How does someone get to that?
Absolutely. Well, that's a great question. And, a lot of people that I get a chance to coach, it's all about being sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? And being disgusted of your situation.
Wow.
Because I once heard that when we change our mind, right? So when people come to me and I get a chance to coach people, it's all about when people want to change. And, change starts with us, right? And when you're in a situation in life, when you're going through a breakdown, but the breakthrough is coming, right? You step out on faith and change and do things differently.
Absolutely.
Right? That's how you step into your greatness, Lisa.
Absolutely. And this is it hit homes for me. The reason why I'm a lot of energy, and I'm really excited to have you be an added value to the show, because I always talk about who's your top 5. My guests, my listening audience, those for you who are new to Ready, Set, Real Estate, thank you for joining. You're on with Lisa P., super agent, and Jevon Edwards. I would say he's a success coach, right? So LegalShield independent associate and certified personal development coach. And as we're talking about leveling up, right? There's the whole 10X level up, and there's various ways that people imagine that for themselves. One of the things that I share, Jevon, is who's your top 5, right? Like, do you have your holistic doctor that you go to? Your PCP, your go-to accountant, your go-to attorney, your go-to real estate professional. Who's your top 5 that is helping you build wealth, accumulate wealth, protect wealth? And in that, I'm finding that it's very important to have the personal advisors, right? Albeit your spiritual advisor, your astrological advisor. And I have to bring that up because JP Morgan Chase said, millionaires don't have astrologers, billionaires do. And it's just really coming to a place where you understand the world in you and outside of you. And so this would be all in your realm, especially when you're coaching someone. And what does that look like? How do you develop a program for someone? Is it contract? Like we've got to do 6 weeks or no go? How do how does one experience working with Jevon Edwards?
Absolutely. Well, that's a great question too. I get a chance to go over a 90-day game plan,
yes,
right, with them to see where they want to be and where they want to go. And also 3 books I recommend people read in a 90-day process so they can reach their goals. So I get a chance to talk with whoever I'm coaching once a week. And of course, we schedule a day to see if their homework was completed, what they needed to do, right? Because small wins equal big wins, right? So yes, the little things you do, right? The small things you do will turn into a ratio. And when you achieve your ratio, you can achieve your success. So yeah, go over a 90-day game plan, go over 3 books I recommend that they read for leadership, how to win friends and influence people, and on building a massive business or building their dreams, right, while they're working hard every day. So, it's really amazing what we go over to help them achieve that.
It's very important. And I think having that accountability partner is very, very important. I am blessed, grateful, fortunate that I have accountability partners. I have various coaches for different aspects of my life, and I accredit those people to making up the team. You know, it's one thing for me to be high energy, right? But also when life hits, right, as we know it does, Jevon, it's like,
Absolutely.
how do we get past the hills, the humps, the troughs, the mountains, the peaks, the valleys? And oftentimes we do require someone else to lean on to help us through that. And questions. Is everyone a good fit for you? Do you take on everyone as a client?
That's a good question. So to be honest with you, I love helping everyone, but I'm only able to help people who want to help themselves, right?
Right.
So I always ask questions on where a person is, so I can know, their mindset on getting out of their situation. So of course we're able to help everyone, but we can only help the ones that are willing to work and willing to change. So, the people that are hungry for a change, that's who I'm looking for to help, to add value into their life, to pour into their life, and help them reach their full potential.
Very, very, very happy about that, especially because when you are someone who is on that track as well, because oftentimes I know the coach has a coach, right? The coach has a coach, and you too would need to develop a level of boundaries and say, hey, this may not be a good fit. There are certain things that need to happen before we can move forward. And like you said, one of the biggest things is that person desiring change rather than feeling just kind of maybe, I guess, haphazard about it, just kind of, leaf in the wind type of thing. Here's what I wanted to, my thoughts about personal development. And I'm glad you said 90 days, because I have a thing about codependency. I'm always concerned when people are trying to lock you in for lifetime and year. I feel like the onus should be on the individual to determine whether, hey, after 90 days, do I want to continue, right? What's the next stage in my life in terms of goals and visions and planning, and where would I want to go next with the person I'm working with, if I so decide to do that. It's so funny because 90 days keeps coming up. I just had a conversation this morning about a 90-day window, about a 90-day contract. So 90 days, is there a reason that we're looking at it 90 days? So, it's a course of 3 months. What is the rationale, maybe psychology behind that? I know some people quote 21 days to change a habit. Is there something strategic about 90 days?
Absolutely. So, it's just like a New Year's resolution. Most people say, hey, I want to get in shape, the January 1st. And within 90 days, they change their mindset, right? Mm-hmm. So a 90-day journey can change your life, because in a 30-day window, right, you can get used to that habits of doing activities every day, right, daily. And then the next 30 days, right, you can be used to that habit. And then 90 days, that's when success starts happening, because you're doing something long enough, a ratio will appear. But it's all about a 90-day run, right? Because most people get tired at 6 months, right? But if you have a 90-day run, because there's 4 90-day runs in a year, you can have massive success in your life.
I like that, especially because when we talk about the concept of time and when you're setting goals, I think it's important. I'm reading this great book that talks about it's important to be careful about time setting, because time is what we make it. So if we say it's going to take us a year, there's nothing stopping us to do it sooner. And I was in my morning meditation, my morning workout, as I was preparing for the show. And I had that moment to remind me to use my affirmations. I'm a millionaire today. Today I am, right? I'm a millionaire today. There's nothing that says it cannot, that it can't be other, because all we're in is today, the present. And that's why I'm like 90 days. Why 90 days versus someone telling someone 6 months, right? Hey, we're just going to take you a whole year to get your life together. 90 days. And as we talk about getting our lives together, one of the things that I wanted to touch on is what you do with also being a personal development coach is being an independent associate for LegalShield. And you and I chimed in on this conversation. This is how we developed and this is how we got here, because while I was in college, I shared with you that I had to pick two companies I was taking an accounting course, and we had to pick two companies to evaluate and look at the P&Ls and the earnings and whether those companies would be viable in the next couple years. And LegalShield back then was prepaid legal. And I had determined that this would be a viable company back then. And at that time, I was 2005. And here we are today. It's 2018, and it has grown tremendously. And I anticipate has been really filling a need. So let's talk about that need in which LegalShield fills and share with our listening and viewing audience more about it, especially as we are now on the celebration of the life of ancestor Aretha Franklin, who transitioned intestate. And that is a term meaning that she passed away without a will or a living trust in place. And I really felt like, wow, Jevon's going to be on the show. We're going to be touching on LegalShield. We know how important it is to have an attorney, or at least access to an attorney, reputable attorneys that you can go to in times of questions of any legalities. So I pass it to you. Tell us a little bit about LegalShield and that need it's now filling, because if it wouldn't be here today if it wasn't filling one.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. It's something that's a necessity right now. LegalShield gives families and business owners the ability to pick up the phone, talk to a law firm about anything, and without worrying about the high hourly cost. So what that means to you, everyone that's on Facebook or on social media, is you get legal advice, right? You're able to pick up the phone and talk to an attorney about anything without worrying about a high hourly cost. What that means to you is you have a law firm in every state. Now you can help you with your contract review, right? Write letters and make phone calls on your behalf, right? Even prepare a living will for you. This is so important. 7 out of 10 people don't have a will. Right. All of us will need one. Right? We know Aretha Franklin passed away. She's in a better place in heaven, but she didn't have a living will. Right. We know Michael Jackson, right? Didn't have a living will. He's worth over $700 million, right? He didn't have a will. What about Prince? So all these legends in the world, right, they have something in place. But with LegalShield, just for becoming a LegalShield member, you actually get one for you and your spouse at no additional cost and annual updates, right? And instead of paying $300 an hour for an average attorney, right, you get access to a law firm, right, that's AB rated, right, for less than $1 a day.
Wow.
It just makes sense, right? It's having that legal muscle, right? I know it's people in the world nowadays that don't sign a birthday card or a car contract without having their attorney review it, because now we're making wise decisions instead of careless decisions.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you and I talked about this, and various people that that have mentioned to me, especially because I own various IP, intellectual property. I'm in real estate. I'm managing, dealing, hold, serve, doing business with some serious estate matters. And that's why you and I said, you know what, we definitely need to talk about it. We need to have you on the show and have people learn a little bit more about just the peace of mind. And I'm on the site right now. I'm on your site, and I'm using JevonEdwards.com, and it reroutes us to where we need to be to get connected. So you guys, I'm doing that plug for him. JevonEdwards.com. Check him out, get connected. And just some of the things that I'm checking out here that's amazing is document preparation, living will, standard will preparation, durable power of attorney. And this is what really jumped out at me just now, Jevon. Listen to this. Residential loan document assistance.
Wow.
Bong, bong, bong. Hello. You mean to tell me you will have an attorney available to you to assist with mortgage documents, especially right now when we know we are in year 10 post the financial crisis, which means those of you who currently hold the 10-year adjustable rate mortgages that are due to reset. I have been getting the phone calls. I have been getting the messages of people whose mortgages have now doubled or tripled, meaning you cannot afford it. You need help right now. It would behoove you to have an attorney on your side to assist with these documents right now. This is real, especially because the Keep Your Home California program ended June 29th of this year. This is heavy. You hear it in my voice, Jevon, right? This is heavy.
Absolutely.
But all the more reason that we should be planning instead of waiting for it after the fact and saying, I wish I had, I wish I knew. This is why we do the show, so that no one says, no one told me. No one ever told me about, that I, for, less than $1 a day, I could have access to an attorney to consult with, versus, like you said, yes, those billable hours. And I do know some attorneys, those billable hours vary. And then before they even pick up the pen or before they even type something, they have a detainer of $1,500 to $2,000 before they send anything on your behalf. Speaking from experience, y'all, I'm just saying. Jevon. I'm just saying. So one of those things, it's so funny because I'm like, I'm on cheering you on, huh? I'm like cheerleading for you right now. It's like, I'm on cheering for you. So one of the things I asked was about the business plan. Do you have a little bit info? So I see there's a personal and there's a business plan. Would you be able to touch on that a little bit for our listening audience, especially because there are a lot of them that are entrepreneurs. A lot of people who are listening do have businesses, and they're looking to grow. And when there comes growth, there comes more exposure to liability.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I completely agree. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, we do have a legal plan for small business owners. So if you have less than 10 employees, right, we have a plan for you that's less than $40 a month, right? If you have over 10 employees, right, we have another plan for you that's $89 a month. But with these plans, that we offer, I mean, you can get unlimited phone consultations and pick up the phone and talk to our law firm, right, about any legal matter that you're going through and get the right wise information that you need so you can make a wise decision, right? So you have access to do it. They can review contracts for you as well. They also give you trial defense with the $89 plan a month. You get 75 hours of trial defense time, right, per year. So that's thousands of dollars in attorney fees that's like on a retainer, right? So think about that. It's attorneys that charge $500 an hour. If you ask them, hey, how much would you charge me for, 75 hours, right? It's going to be probably over $50,000. So this is just like having that retainer for a law firm without worrying about the retainer, because you pay a monthly fee instead of an hourly fee, right?
Right.
So a lot of my small businesses take advantage of this because they have a wall of protection around their business, because they know that every situation in your life will be a legal situation. If it's dealing with your car insurance, life insurance, health insurance, who do you call when those companies don't do what they're supposed to do? You call your attorney. So this is a wall of protection, and now you're empowered and you have peace of mind because now you have experts that's on your team and in your life to protect you and your business from any situations, because we all know that most businesses go out of business within 5 years because of a legal matter.
Absolutely, because of a legal matter. Oh, I tell you, and as we are talking about personal success, and oftentimes money is the byproduct of that. And especially when it's so funny because, Jevon, when we talk about law of attraction and law of magnetism, when people say I'm out dream chasing or chasing the money, you are telling or communicating to the universe that you do not have it. And when you're operating from that space of you do not have it, yes, you're constantly going to be chasing rather than be in it, step in it, receive it. And how powerful would it be if you were communicating to the universe that I have it already, so much so I'm confident and secure in it that I am going to make sure I protect myself. I protect my assets with it, right? I protect my assets. I do what we call, I've been using this word a lot, this phrase, front load. I'm front loading due diligence inspections and docs and, documents. And I do all the work first before I step into a deal or negotiate a deal, so that I'm not exposing myself to liabilities. So we want to do our due diligence. And I would think, making sure that you are protected. And this so much so, this continues to be one of those things. That's why I said in our caption, it's an overdue conversation in our communities. The healing starts with us. Get it together. Right? It's easier said than done. Get some help. Can't do it on your own because it takes a lot to be self-motivated, right? I run 2 shows of business and nonprofit, all that other stuff. That's a lot of high energy. However, I'm transparent to say that I have a team to do it. I certainly don't want to do everything by myself. And I don't. And I know that it's very important to have the team, very important to make sure that you're positioning yourself. And that's what this is about, positioning yourself. So I'm really happy that from a success coach standpoint, and also from something really tangible, like that's real tangible when we talk about legal protection, real tangible. And when you look at what people are spending on turnup, right? Especially when we deal with contracts regularly. And people don't realize it until you have to do a demand letter, right? Especially when you let somebody borrow some money. You didn't put it in writing. You're going to have some challenges getting that money back. You didn't use collateral. You don't have a collateral, didn't hold a collateral. it behooves you to have an attorney to prepare that. I can go on and on because I got way too many situations. I've known too many. I've learned so much. And I definitely one that have had to do the letters. And it's one of those things that, my goodness, it is important. It is needed. And it's good to see that LegalShield has been growing. Like I said, they've been on the map, at least in my sphere, my realm, since 2005, when I actually pulled them up as a college study for my accounting class, and to see that they are one of the viable companies that are still growing, that definitely speaks volumes. And there are a lot more people that I know that are actually, either coming on as an associate, or they're not interested on doing that. They just want to do it for themselves and their family. And that's fine too. But when you see something like, when you have people that are respected in such fields like entertainment and have tons of money, like you said, ancestor Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin, who have gone on, and now you have people fighting. I'm not saying that's what is happening with our children, but when you have that, because we deal with probate estates, when we don't settle the matters while we're alive, guess what? The living have to deal with it. The living have to deal with it. Jevon, would you please let us know what has been a significant, have you had an experience where someone has called you and said, my goodness, I was going through this, like a testimony per se, of feedback with having experienced protection through LegalShield?
Absolutely. I never forget, I received a phone call on a Friday a couple of years ago, and this really changed my life on what I'm doing and my purpose. And I received a phone call Friday evening. It was an older, lady in her 60s. She was crying, and me, I'm so sensitive for people. I had to ask her, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Hey, let's pray, because that's what we do. I'm a Christian, so we must empower people by prayer." So because I put faith first. And so I got a chance to pray with her, calm her down. She told me a story about her grandson was in Hollywood, got pulled over by a sheriff deputy, and his friend was driving. Long story short, the deputies was going to take them in, right, and detain them. So she called me. She didn't know what to do. I said, "Hey, calm down, relax. You're a LegalShield member." And she said, "Yeah, that's right." So I said, "Hey, get off the phone with me. Call your attorney with LegalShield, because you also get 24-hour access in the emergency situation." So she got off the phone with me, called LegalShield. The attorneys picked up within 2 to 3 rings. It was after 7 p.m. Long story short, her grandson got detained overnight. But what's so powerful about this story is our attorneys called the authorities in the jail and had a conversation with them, right? And her grandson was released that same morning.
Wow.
And what's so significant about this is, he's doing great now. He's in college, but that was his first time being incarcerated. He's a good kid. And, usually if you're incarcerated over Monday, and that experience would last with him for the rest of his life, but because his grandmother made a decision to have LegalShield for her and her grandson, he was able to get out of the situation and not have a criminal background because of the situation, because he had LegalShield.
Right. Yeah. That's what I want people to hear, is like, if not for you, for your children, especially we're in an environment, we're in a very, hostile popped in my head, but that, this just, we've got bubbling issues, and definitely we're in a very strenuous time right now economically, in terms of rising prices, rising rates, being tapped for funds. And I mean, we have a lot of factors that create stresses and are stressors for just day to day. And I don't need to go on of what we've already seen, experienced, and witnessed that has been happening across the country. So the onus is on us. And I'm glad that it's grandma who saw the need and said, you know what, I may not run into the trouble, right? But I have, again, this goes back to this intergenerational conversation we should be having, is that grandma is looking out for her grandchildren. And that's oftentimes what needs to happen, is that it goes both ways. And it's just being prepared. I'm an advocate of being proactive versus reactive. I really am. Proactive versus reactive. Jevon, thank you for sharing that. As we get ready to wrap up the show, and I just really thank you for coming on, because today, I know we had some hiccups, but we made it work. We made it work. And it's just definitely been very important to have you on, so that when we're talking about personal development and everyone's wanting to achieve a level of success, with that success comes more responsibility and more exposure to potential liabilities. And it is important to be protected. And you may not be able to be at the level where you'll have an attorney on retainer, but something as LegalShield to give you the access and peace of mind. It's like I say with life insurance, having that peace of mind. It is that peace of mind, just like your car insurance. Those aren't things that you have in force necessarily for you, and you don't want to use them, but you certainly do have them to pay, and you're paying for it. So this too would be an added benefit. So I just wanted to just say thank you for that. And any last remarks you want to leave with our listening and viewing audience? And please let them know how they can connect with you. I have the Jevon Edwards site. If there's a 800 number or a number you'd like to leave, in terms of how they can connect with you on social media, for learning more about you, working with you as a personal coach, or even just helping them out get a plan through LegalShield. Please share.
Absolutely. So on Instagram, you can follow me at Jevon Edwards is a success, and that's Jevon Edwards is a success. That's my Instagram. And if you look me up on Facebook, Jevon Edwards, you should see me. I have a bow tie on, so that's my signature. So you can, look me up on Facebook. My direct phone number is 323-540-0002. Once again, it's 323-540-0002. That's my direct line. If you have questions about LegalShield, or how can you provide, get that protection for you and your family, feel free to give me a call. Would love to, help you have peace of mind and get you protected as well. And if you have questions about personal development, I would love to talk to you about a plan that can help you change your life in the next 90 days and help you step into your greatness. Because we all know that, we have to go through a test so we can create a testimony. So I'm looking forward to helping you create a testimony. But last words, to be honest with you, I'm looking forward to, seeing more people step into, their greatness by stepping out on faith, right? And just know this, right? Just know this, while you're going through this day, today has to be different than yesterday, and it will be different than tomorrow. But just know this, I have a quote that I always like to share, and it's so touching because it's about everyone that's on this line, or that's watching us on Facebook, and everyone that's in the world. Just remember this: your struggle can change the world, but your testimony can save someone's life. And, I'll end on this note. I never forget, I was talking to someone and I was speaking at an event in front of hundreds of people. And at the end of the event, I never forget, they came up to me and, I just reached a milestone in my business and it was a tough journey, but it was a reward at the end. So I was so grateful, right? We have to be thankful and grateful. But I never forget, this gentleman came up to me and he said, hey, you know what? He was crying and I said, hey, you know what? Everything's going to be okay. He said, hey, you know what? Because, I know you went through a struggle in your life. I know you was affiliated with the wrong people and you overcame that. You changed your life. I know what you went through, breakups and hang-ups in your journey as an entrepreneur. And I just went through a breakup. And because I heard your story and your testimony, you gave me hope. And because you gave me hope, now I feel better about moving forward. And I just want to say thank you, Jevon, because today is the day that changed my life. And just always remember that quote, because your testimony can save someone's life, but it takes vision to change your own life.
Indeed.
So with that said, Lisa, I truly appreciate you having me on the call. And thank you for everything you're doing, sharing your enthusiasm with the world, sharing your friendship with me, and just allowing me to be a speaker on your Facebook Live. I am truly honored and blessed to know you and to have met you a couple of weeks ago. So with that said, I'll turn the call back over to you.
Thank you, Jevon. That was very, very powerful. And yes, your message indeed, your life experience is not in vain. I will save mine for the next book. Soon to be box office hit movie. Because I hear you. We are not here haphazardly. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in on today's episode of Ready, Set, Real Estate. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. And we're also available on radio podcasts everywhere: Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and a plethora of other radio podcasts. And this was really, really powerful today when we talk about success, personal growth, and protection. Jevon, we appreciate having you on the show. Please, let's continue to stay connected. And I am honored, brother, for connecting with you as well. Thank you for your energy. All right, you guys, we are out, and we'll see you next week on another episode of Ready, Set, Real Estate.